Here we have another session focused on CGC prep or ultimately public access training with Guava. My main focus is engagement, and since we have been struggling with this, I have her on the long leash. This is a 12-foot leash, and I am waiting for her to opt back into me. So she cannot leave the aisle. That's just a safety thing. I don't want her going around the corner to anywhere I can't see. But other than that, I'm waiting for her to choose to re-engage with me. Here she comes in, she offers that sit, and I actually ask for a behavior before I reward her. And you'll notice I actually do that quite a bit in this video, where I do wait for her to come back to me, but then I ask for something before I go in and reward. I don't reward that initial coming back into me. Now, I do typically start with that. I reward the dog as soon as they offer me eye contact, as soon as they come back into me. But I think potentially Guava has chained a reaction of moving away, getting her fill of sniffing, and then she comes back and gets a reward, and then she moves away, and she gets to sniff again. And so what I'm doing is I am waiting for her to opt back into working with me, but I do ask her to actually work with me before I go in and reward. Now, in a moment here, you're going to see somebody enter the aisle, and you'll see how I handle that distraction. Notice specifically my timing on the reinforcement, and then there is a moment where I do go in and do a little bit of body blocking as well. So you'll notice that I did my first yes and reward as soon as he walked into the aisle. When I'm dealing with distractions, I always want to get in before the dog moves towards it. So if I can manage to capture that moment when the dog sees the distraction but has not yet moved towards it, I have a good chance of keeping them in position and keeping them from going towards that distraction. I then marked and rewarded her second look back at him, and then on the third one, because she was holding position well, I waited for her to look back at me, marked and rewarded that, and that's when she broke. So that's a little bit harder for her. If you do go back and watch that clip, one thing that you will also notice is that even though she broke position, I still rewarded her. That's because I'd used my marker signal, and even though she got up, that marker signal is a promise to her that she is going to get reinforced. So it was more important to me that I keep my promise with the marker word rather than be really picky about position. Hindsight, I should not have asked her to lay back down in that moment, because that's what caused her to then wander off and try and go say hi to him. And then I had to go in with the body block to keep her with me. You'll notice that I'm not really stepping into her, I'm stepping sideways. So I'm acting as a barrier rather than adding in social pressure to move her backwards away. Now I'm just doing a lot of repetition here of walking and sit stays and down stays, so I'm going to skip a little bit forward. And then here we're going to have another person come around the corner, and again you'll see how I deal with that. You'll see the timing. Yes, there is a bit of luring body blocking when he comes in close, but she actually does a lot better with this one.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So in that one, you'll notice in the beginning, I was actually moving towards him and then marking and rewarding when she looked back at me because I thought she could handle it. And we really need to work towards being able to walk around people. So I'm breaking down that skill of walking past a person by starting with taking one step towards them and then me stopping, which prompts her to pay attention to me, and marking and rewarding that attention. You'll also notice when he gets really close, I do go in and I just put my leg between him and her, and then I stick a magnet hand in her mouth. That is a fistful of food that she's actively eating as I lure her away. And once we were out of that danger zone of being right next to him, I went ahead and moved my hand away and gave her a chance to look and reinforced her for choosing to stay with me. All in all, a really nice session. One thing I do see when I'm reviewing it is I'm still seeing a little bit of reluctancy in her down behavior. We have less latency, she's doing it right away, but she just seems a little reluctant. She's a little slow as she's doing it. So we have less speed and enthusiasm than I'd like, which is likely due to my heavy focus on duration rather than the actual action of laying down, so I'm going to go back and rework it.